Hidden enemy. The person you laughed with yesterday is secretly cursing your destiny. Michael demands you see their identity. My beloved child, listen carefully. The air around you has been whispering secrets that your heart couldn't yet hear. You smiled with someone yesterday, unaware that their laughter carried venom behind the mask of friendship. Archangel Michael stands before you now, his sword blazing with divine truth, saying, "Your hidden enemy has been exposed in the heavens. There is someone in your circle who calls you dear, who smiles when you speak of your dreams, but the moment you turn away, they release words of darkness over your destiny." Michael says, their jealousy has turned into a curse, but heaven has already intercepted it. You have felt drained, confused, or strangely heavy after meeting certain people. That is not coincidence. That is spiritual leakage caused by their hidden intentions. Michael wants you to open your eyes, not in fear, but in discernment. For the one who once praised your success is now secretly plotting your downfall. You've been sensing it. The sudden silence, the awkward compliments, the fake concern. Those were not your imagination. Archangel Michael reveals, they admired your light but hated that it shone brighter than theirs. There is something divine rising within you, and that is what provoked their envy. The angels have been watching them twist your name in secret conversations, calling themselves loyal while their heart bleeds bitterness. But hear this, no curse can stand against the one chosen by heaven. The words they spoke are already turning back to the sender. Michael stands at your door, his wings wide, commanding that every deceitful presence be exposed by sunrise. He says, the one who pretended to care will show their true color through their next words. Watch carefully. It will happen naturally. The tone, the slip, the strange energy, it will all reveal itself. And when it happens, do not react in anger. Simply say this, Michael, seal my destiny in your light. The moment you speak it, their curse will crumble like dust in divine fire. Because God never lets the wicked triumph over the pure. Wait for what comes next, because what Michael is about to show you in the following moments will shake the false foundations around you. What was hidden in darkness is about to scream for release. Hold on. You'll want to hear the next part, because Michael is about to reveal how to recognize this hidden enemy by their actions before they strike again. My radiant soul, Michael speaks again, and his voice thunders with holy authority. He says the enemy that smiles beside you is not far. They walk the same path, but their heart hides rebellion. You must understand, this revelation isn't to fill you with fear, but to awaken your divine awareness. The one you laughed with yesterday carries both admiration and envy in the same breath. Their spirit wrestles between love and competition. They desire your peace but despise your progress. Every compliment they gave you carried a shadow behind it, an unseen twist that fed off your light. Archangel Michael declares, their flattery is not favor. It is a disguise meant to disarm your discernment. You may have noticed strange patterns around you lately, blessings delayed without reason, doors that should have opened but stayed shut, or constant emotional fatigue after spending time with certain people. These are not random happenings. They are energetic fingerprints left by hidden intentions. Someone hath been speaking your name in circles that you do not walk in. Their words may sound harmless, but in the realm of spirit, they carry weight. Words can be arrows, and Michael's shield has been intercepting them for you. He wants you to know, nothing spoken against you will manifest, for heaven is guarding your harvest. But Michael also says this, awareness brings authority. When light shines upon deception, darkness loses its grip. The person you think is harmless might be the very one draining your divine energy. a novice who appears when you're broken and disappears when you rise. Observe who listens more than they speak when you share your dreams. Their silence hides calculation. They study your vulnerabilities to use them later as weapons of emotional manipulation. Yet Michael warns them, touch not the anointed, for your curse shall return sevenfold. The reason you were chosen to receive this message is because your spirit has been whispering that something feels off. That intuition is not paranoia, it is prophecy. The angels have been stirring your discernment, urging you to see beyond the smile, beyond the kind words, beyond the mask. When the same person who praises your blessings starts questioning how you got them, that is when Michael's sword begins to burn. It is divine exposure preparing to unfold. Child of light, do not confront them yet. Allow God to reveal the truth naturally. You will soon witness a slip, an unexpected reaction when you speak your next testimony. They will frown where they once smiled. They will distance themselves without clear reason. Your spirit can no longer fake alignment with yours. The vibration of your calling has become too high for their hidden intentions to remain comfortable. The light within you is suffocating their deception. Michael stands beside you as your divine protector, holding the sword of truth above your name. He says, I will not only expose the one who curses your destiny, but also elevate you before their very eyes. The same people who wished you silent will watch you rise louder than ever before. Their curse will become your confirmation, their words will become your witness, and their betrayal will become your blessing. Because no enemy, no matter how familiar, can destroy what heaven has sealed. So keep your spirit still and your heart guarded. This revelation is only the beginning. The next unveiling will uncover how they entered your circle in the first place, and why destiny allowed them to walk beside you for a season. Sometimes, exposure comes not as punishment, but as purification. Wait for what's coming next, because Michael is about to reveal the real reason this enemy was allowed close to you, and how their betrayal will unlock your next level of destiny. My chosen one, Archangel Michael, speaks again, and his message is piercing through the veil of confusion. He says, do not grieve that you let them close. Heaven permitted their presence for revelation. Sometimes, divine protection looks like painful exposure. That person was never truly your ally. They were a test of your spirit's strength. The laughter you shared yesterday was not meaningless. It was the sound of the mask before it cracked. Michael says, their season in your life was a mirror, showing you who you are when love is not returned, when loyalty is not mutual. There are moments in destiny when God allows betrayal to teach discernment. You see, not everyone who walks with you deserves access to your anointing. Some people are drawn to the oil upon your life, but not to the altar it came from. They want the blessing, but not the burden, the glory, but not the warfare. Michael reveals, they were permitted near you so that you would learn to guard your gates, emotional, spiritual, and physical. The betrayal was not random. It was divine schooling. You might ask, why would God allow me to be hurt? The answer is written in the heavens. Every wound carries wisdom. The pain you felt became the very doorway for clarity. When you cried in silence, heaven wrote it as a declaration, my child now sees. And that vision is the weapon that no curse can silence. The very person who tried to speak against your destiny unknowingly pushed you into alignment with it. What was meant to break you only exposed what could no longer stay hidden. Michael is showing me an image of you standing in a circle of light, and around that light are shadows trying to blend in. But the fire of truth is rising higher now. Soon, one of these shadows will stumble. A word will slip. A reaction will reveal the truth. You will suddenly realize, this was the one. the one who smile but secretly wish you to fail. And when you recognize them, do not respond with hate. Respond with holiness, because your forgiveness will be the final weapon that dismantles their curse. The more you elevate, the more hidden enemies tremble. And Michael says, do not let their disguise deceive you again. Guard your vision. Speak less. Observe more. Protect your peace, for your destiny is now entering the stage of public recognition. When God exposes one false connection, it means He is preparing to introduce divine replacements, people who will carry your name in prayer, not in gossip. Those who once cursed you will witness your rise and whisper, surely God's hand is upon them. Child of purpose, this is your time to walk in discernment and strength. You are being separated from imitation loyalty so that genuine covenant can enter your life. Heaven is positioning you for elevation beyond familiar circles. The one who betrayed you is not your downfall. They are your divine proof that you are rising. Their jealousy was the final key to your next door. Michael's light now surrounds your heart, sealing it from emotional wounds that once made you question your worth. He says, from this day, you will not be deceived again. You will see clearly, feel clearly, and move clearly. Before we move forward, I want you to take a moment. Type in the comments, I am sealed in Michael's truth. Blessing code 4477 is now released upon all who declare it. And remember, when you engage with this message, you strengthen its reach. So take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs discernment, comment what resonated with your soul, and make sure you subscribe for more divine revelations. Now, beloved, as Michael lifts his sword once more, he's about to reveal something deeper, the real spiritual transaction that happened when this person cursed your destiny, and how heaven overturned it before it could touch you. Stay with me, because this next revelation will shift your entire spiritual perspective. Beloved hearts, as we continue to release these prophetic messages from the throne of light, remember, every word spoken here is part of a divine mission to awaken souls across the world. When you support this channel through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you're not just giving, you're sowing into deliverance, revelation, and restoration for countless others. As it is written, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. God is calling you to be a vessel in this movement. I'm inviting you personally. Join hands with this divine work and let your gift become a seed of light that reaches someone lost in darkness. Every act of support releases heavenly oil over your own life. The heavens record those who sustain the voice of truth. So step forward now, and as you give, may Michael's protection multiply around your home. My anointed listener, Archangel Michael now speaks with a fire that pierces through every layer of deceit surrounding your destiny. He says, before the curse was ever spoken, heaven had already reversed it. The hidden enemy who whispered your name in darkness underestimated the God who walks with you in silence. Every malicious word they sent toward you has been intercepted and turned into wind, powerless and directionless. You may not realize it, but every sleepless night, every strange heaviness you felt, was evidence of spiritual warfare in progress. The unseen realm has been raging around your name, yet you were preserved. Michael stood watch at your door when you thought you were alone. Heaven never allows curses to land on the pure in heart. Instead, those curses become seeds of divine acceleration. The person who secretly cursed you believed they could delay your purpose, but in truth, they only triggered a divine investigation. Michael reveals that when they spoke against you, the heavens recorded their words and weighed their intent. What they meant for harm became the evidence heaven needed to promote you. The enemy was unknowingly participating in your elevation. That is how divine justice operates, unseen, immediate, and irreversible. Child of destiny, I need you to understand something crucial now. There is power in your spoken word, and there is power in your silence. The same tongue that tried to curse you cannot overpower a soul that walks under the protection of Archangel Michael. You have been wondering why certain relationships suddenly crumbled, why people you trusted began distancing themselves, or why conversations that once brought joy now feel heavy. It was not rejection, it was redirection. God was removing contaminated energy from your path so your blessing could flow without resistance. Michael says, every person leaving your life right now is not a loss. It is a clearing. Now pay attention. The moment your hidden enemy released their curse, a heavenly countercommand was also issued. Michael drew his sword and declared, "Touch not the destiny of the chosen." From that instant, the curse lost its foundation. It could not land on you, so it circled aimlessly until heaven returned it to its sender. That's why lately, you may have sensed something shifting in their life: confusion, stagnation, frustration. It is not for you to gloat, but to understand. Divine justice is never delayed. Michael's justice is never silent. It is perfect. And hear this: your hidden enemy may have tried to curse your success, but what they truly activated was your divine protection contract. Every spiritual attack they launched has now become a stepping stone for your next breakthrough. You are not cursed, you are crowned. Michael says, the battle they began has become your testimony. You will soon witness a strange reversal. Opportunities that were blocked will suddenly open. People who overlooked you will now seek your presence, and favor will chase you where rejection once stood. That's not luck, it's redemption. The person who cursed your destiny never realized that you were anointed to turn every curse into confirmation. What they whispered in shadows has now become the very trumpet announcing your rise. The storm they sent your way was not meant to destroy you, but to cleanse the air around your life. You are emerging clearer, stronger, and wiser than before. Do not wish them harm. Release them. Their curse has already lost its power. Michael commands you now, speak life, and life will multiply around you. The one who laughs last will not be you. It will be heaven, rejoicing over your victory. Before you go, hold on a little longer. What Michael reveals next will unravel the spiritual mechanics behind envy itself, why it targeted you, and how it becomes the divine fuel for your next assignment. This revelation is one you cannot afford to miss. My sacred listener, Archangel Michael now speaks of the mystery behind envy, the hidden force that drives the enemy's curse. He says, the envy they carry was not born from hatred, it was born from comparison. The person who once laughed beside you began measuring their life against yours. At first, they celebrated your wins, but deep inside, they began to wonder why favor seemed to find you so easily. The more they compared, the more they opened a door to darkness. Envy, once a whisper, became a weapon. Michael reveals that envy is the most silent form of witchcraft because it begins in admiration before turning into resentment. Heaven wants you to understand that envy is not merely emotional. It is spiritual theft in disguise. The enemy tries to attach to your energy by studying your patterns. They mimic your words, your habits, your decisions, thinking they can steal your results. But Michael declares, what is anointed cannot be imitated. Your light was not learned, it was bestowed. That is why those who copy your ways never carry your power. They can reflect your image, but they cannot reproduce your essence. Their imitation exposes their emptiness. Every time you shared your dream, your testimony, or your excitement, the hidden enemy felt a tightening in their chest. They wanted to celebrate, yet jealousy rose like smoke from their heart. And when they could no longer contain it, their spirit began to release negative energy, thoughts, words, and feelings that carried the vibration of sabotage. Michael says, they didn't have to speak a curse for it to exist. Their jealousy was already a prayer against you. Yet even that could not penetrate your shield. You have felt their distance, their strange coldness, the energy shift when you enter the room. All of it was confirmation of spiritual envy reacting to your light. You must know this truth. Envy reveals itself not through words, but through absence. Watch who disappears when you rise, who avoids congratulating you, who gives half-hearted praise. They reveal themselves not by what they say, but by what they cannot say. Your silence is their confession. But do not let this knowledge harden your heart. Michael teaches, discernment is not bitterness. It is awareness through love. You are called to see through deception without losing compassion. Because the one who envied you is still trapped in their own fear of inadequacy. Their curse against you was nothing but a cry for validation. Still, heaven must uphold justice. Envy on aggress becomes destruction. That is why the divine allowed their intent to surface now, so that the chain can be broken before it multiplies. Michael stands with his sword drawn, cutting every invisible cord that tried to drain your light. The energy of comparison, the unseen jealousy, the false attachment, all of it is being severed in this very moment. The weight you've been carrying that wasn't yours is lifting now. The tiredness you couldn't explain, the heaviness that lingered after certain conversations, that was spiritual residue, and it is being cleared by Michael's flame. And hear this, beloved, the more others envy your purpose, the more heaven confirms your calling. Jealousy is the echo of greatness. It does not rise against the ordinary. Michael says, the level of envy you face is the level of destiny you carry. Do not waste energy defending your name. Let God do the unveiling. For every tongue that rises against you will soon testify of your triumph. You are being positioned where even your hidden enemies will have to watch you walk through doors they once said were closed. To breathe deeply and release it. Their envy cannot follow you into your next season. That vibration cannot exist in your higher atmosphere. You are rising into purity, clarity, and divine flow. Michael whispers, your peace is your weapon. Hold it close, for peace is proof that heaven has already won the battle. Before you move, hold steady, for what Michael is about to show next will expose the secret connection between this person's curse and your generational calling. It is deeper than you realize, and it carries the key to your next realm of authority. My divine listener, Archangel Michael now reveals something few ever understand. The hidden enemy's curse was not simply against your present. It was aimed at your bloodline, your calling, and your generational authority. Michael declares, the reason you were targeted is because you carry what they fear to confront in themselves. The curse you felt was not random. It was ancestral resistance trying to stop the restoration that your life represents. You are the breaker in your lineage, the one chosen to reverse patterns that have repeated for generations. The enemy saw that light long before you saw it yourself, and through human jealousy, they became a vessel for old spiritual warfare to reawaken. The person you laughed with yesterday did not know they were aligning with ancient opposition. They thought it was simple envy, yet their words became channels for spiritual forces that have resisted your family line for years. Michael says, you are not just fighting gossip, you are confronting history. Every time you refused bitterness, every time you forgave when it hurt, every time you prayed instead of cursing back, you were cutting ties that generations before you could not. Heaven hath been waiting for someone in your bloodline strong enough to end the cycle, and that someone is you. Understand this. Curses often disguise themselves as conversations. The enemy did not need rituals or altars. They needed agreement. When that hidden person released their bitterness, it resonated with unresolved pain from your ancestry. That vibration tried to attach itself to your destiny. But what they didn't know was that Archangel Michael was already standing guard. He has been cleansing your generational path, removing residue from voices long gone. You are walking through spiritual territory that your ancestors prayed to reach. This is why the attacks felt personal. They were not only about you, but about what your bloodline carries. The hidden enemy was drawn to you because your spirit triggered conviction in theirs. You reminded them of something they buried, a dream, a calling, a divine spark they abandoned. Their curse came from frustration with themselves, not hatred for you. Yet heaven uses even misdirected energy for good. Michael proclaims, the very force that came to hinder you will become the fuel that lifts you. The enemy's jealousy has now become heaven's evidence of your chosen status. Your name has been marked for victory, not vengeance. You are breaking what your ancestors endured in silence. Where they bowed, you will stand. Where they wept, you will grieve. And where they were silenced, you will speak. Michael says, every curse that ran through your family line now meets the sword of truth. The generational patterns, poverty, betrayal, emotional instability, and premature endings are now being cut off from your timeline. The person who cursed your destiny unknowingly activated this cleansing. Your words became the final spark needed for God to finalize your bloodline's liberation. And now, the energy around you is shifting. You might feel it even now. A sense of spiritual release, a subtle lightness. That is your confirmation. The angels are working in your atmosphere, removing the weight that didn't belong to you. Michael's flame burns across your lineage, rewriting your name in the book of divine inheritance. From this moment, your family story changes. No curse, spoken or unspoken, can rewrite what heaven has already sealed. But Michael also gives a warning. Guard your peace as a generational key. The same way you inherited battles, you also carry authority. Use it wisely. Do not fight the hidden enemy with the same tools they used against you. Instead, rise in silence, for silence in the face of accusation is thunder in the spiritual realm. Let your elevation be your answer. Let your peace be your proclamation. Type in the comments, I break every bloodline curse. Blessing code 7710 is now activated upon your family and future generations. Stay with me, beloved. The next revelation will show how divine exposure begins, how God will uncover this hidden enemy in your presence and turn their betrayal into a public testimony of your rising. You will not want to miss this, for what happens next is the proof of your breakthrough. My dearest soul of light, Archangel Michael now speaks about the moment of divine exposure, the hour when what was whispered in secret begins to echo in public. He says, every deceit has an expiration date, and the time of unveiling has come. The hidden enemy who once walked beside you is now standing in the light of their own intentions. Heaven has decreed that truth will no longer hide behind familiar smiles. The veil is thinning, and those who cursed you in silence will begin to reveal themselves without realizing it. Their own words will betray them, their actions will contradict their claims, and their spiritual covering will dissolve under the weight of truth. You may have already sensed the beginning of this exposure. Strange moments when you feel sudden awkwardness around them, when their words no longer sound the same, when your spirit feels a quiet disconnection. That is the signal. The anointing upon your life has become too heavy for deception to coexist beside it. The moment you stepped into awareness, their disguise began to fade. Archangel Michael whispers, "You are not losing people, you are shedding false connections." The discomfort you feel now is the sound of divine rearrangement. Heaven is positioning truth in front of you. Exposure, however, is not about vengeance, it is about vindication. The hidden enemy will not be destroyed by your anger, but by their own fruit. You will not need to confront them. You will simply witness what was hidden become visible. Conversations will surface, words will return to your ears through unexpected mouths, and behaviors will confirm what your spirit already knew. You will stand still, and heaven will act on your behalf. Michael says, "When I expose, I also elevate. When I reveal, I also restore." The unveiling is not to shame them, it is to free you. For too long, you have carried the weight of confusion, wondering who truly stands for you. Now, clarity will become your liberation. Do not be surprised if exposure comes quietly, through moments that feel almost ordinary. Perhaps a conversation overheard, a slip of emotion, a sudden withdrawal. God's revelations rarely arrive with noise. They come in whispers that shake the ground. What once was done in the dark is being unraveled thread by thread. And when the final knot is undone, you will look back and realize how divinely orchestrated every detail was. Michael reminds you, you were never behind. You were being protected from false hands touching holy things. And hear this, after the exposure comes exaltation. The very person who cursed you will witness your next elevation, and it will silence their words. Your peace will stand as your proof. The battle is shifting now, not in your emotions, but in your favor. God will cause the truth to travel faster than their lies. Those who believe the enemy's words about you will soon see the reality that heaven has always known. Their narrative will crumble because it was never built on truth, only jealousy. Michael now places his flame upon your tongue. He says, "Speak no curse in return. Bless those who hurt you, for blessing is a shield stronger than retaliation. When you bless your enemy, you rise above their reach. That is how victory is sustained. Divine justice is not measured by their downfall but by your peace. You will soon feel an unexplainable release. The freedom that comes when exposure has fulfilled its purpose. Your story is about to shift from hidden pain to visible favor. The same people who doubted you will become witnesses of your transformation. You are stepping into divine visibility, not for attention, but for testimony. Michael declares, "I have marked your name with victory. No false tongue will erase it." Stay close, for what Michael reveals next will be one of the most powerful turning points in this message. He will now uncover the reason heaven chose this exact season to lift you publicly, and how this exposure unlocks your divine promotion. You will not want to miss what comes next. My beloved child of light, Archangel Michael now speaks with a voice that sounds like thunder wrapped in peace. He says, "Heaven reveals truth only when promotion is near." Every exposure that has happened, every sudden shift in relationships, every uncomfortable ending you have endured, these are not signs of loss, but of transition. The reason this moment feels heavy is because you are standing at the threshold of divine elevation. The hidden enemy's curse was meant to halt your ascent, but instead, it has become the very wind that will lift your wings higher. Michael declares, "Your name is being announced in the courts of heaven, and favor is being written beside it." This is why the warfare intensified. The closer you move into your season of manifestation, the louder the noise became. The enemy tried to discredit you before the unveiling, hoping you would disqualify yourself through discouragement. But you stood firm. Every tear you shed became a seed that watered your next level. Heaven has been watching, measuring your endurance. and now the reward is being released. Michael says you have proven your faith not by perfection, but by perseverance. Now the heavens open over you. There will be a moment soon, subtle yet undeniable, when you feel as though the atmosphere itself shifts in your favor. Things that once resisted you will begin to align effortlessly. Doors that were silent will start to move. Conversations will turn in your benefit without you forcing them. This is divine promotion unfolding, and it carries a fragrance that only the faithful recognize. The hidden enemy's exposure was simply the clearing before the coronation. Their attempt to curse your destiny became heaven's announcement that your season had matured. Michael stands beside you now, holding the scroll of destiny with your name engraved upon it. He says, the time of delay has ended. The seal is broken, and the promise begins. Every betrayal, every misunderstanding, every false accusation has now become your spiritual credential. Heaven promotes those who remain silent while being falsely spoken against. You passed the test of restraint, and that is why the oil of increase is now being poured upon your head. You were not forgotten. You were being prepared for visibility. The person who cursed you yesterday will soon see you celebrated tomorrow, not as revenge, but as revelation. For God's justice is never rooted in punishment. It is rooted in proof. The elevation coming your way will not only restore your confidence, but will also sanctify your name before those who misunderstood you. Michael declares, I have prepared a table before you, not in secret, but in the sight of those who doubted your light. This is not arrogance. It is divine recompense. Heaven rewards endurance, and your endurance has been witnessed. So walk boldly now. The spiritual atmosphere is shifting, and the angels are aligning your path for recognition and expansion. The very areas that once brought pain will now become platforms for purpose. You will notice divine acceleration, messages, opportunities, connections, even ideas flowing rapidly. This is the proof that Michael's hand is upon your destiny. The curse that tried to suppress your name has instead made you unforgettable in heaven's memory. Your heart may still feel the sting of betrayal, but Michael says, do not look back in sorrow. Look forward in strength. The same God who allowed exposure has now written elevation beside your name. You are stepping into a realm where you will no longer chase blessings. Blessings will chase you. Divine visibility is not about fame. It is about fulfillment. What once broke you has now become the blueprint for your breakthrough. Before this revelation concludes, take a moment to like this video, share it with those who need hope, comment what part spoke to your spirit, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the messages Michael sends through these prophetic releases. Let your engagement be your agreement with heaven. And now, as we continue, Michael will reveal how your rise will impact those around you, and how your obedience in this season becomes a beacon that draws others out of darkness. What comes next is both prophetic and deeply personal. You will feel it in your spirit as confirmation. Beloved heart, this is the moment when divine alignment meets divine assignment. If this message has stirred something within you, understand that it is not by chance. You are part of heaven's plan to spread light across the nations. When you support this channel through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become a messenger of hope. You are not giving to a voice. You are sowing into the salvation of souls. Scripture declares, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, and running over. This is not a request, it is a holy invitation. As you plant your seed today, may the oil of increase flow upon your life, and may your act of faith open new rivers of favor in every area. Heaven sees the giver, and heaven rewards swiftly. Step into this divine exchange, for your obedience will echo through eternity. My beloved one, Archangel Michael now speaks of the next phase, the ripple of your rising. He says, when heaven promotes one, the light of that elevation touches many. Your victory was never meant to be private. The reason you were attacked so fiercely was because your destiny carries influence. What you survive becomes someone else's deliverance. The moment you step into this new realm, your light will begin to stir dormant hearts. Those who once doubted their worth will find strength by watching you stand again. Michael whispers, you were not chosen to impress, you were chosen to ignite. This is the true weight of your calling. The hidden enemy never targeted you for who you were yesterday, they feared who you were becoming. The curse they spoke against you was not about your current blessings, it was an attempt to stop your future impact. But what they did not know is that God uses opposition as confirmation. Every attack against your purpose has now become evidence of your spiritual authority. The greater the resistance, the louder heaven's endorsement. Michael says you were tried not for punishment, but for proof. You are the proof that light always wins. Now, watch what happens next. Your life will begin to attract those who are weary, those who feel unseen, those walking through betrayal of their own. You will not have to speak much. Your peace will preach louder than your words. People will come to you, drawn by the calm that now surrounds you, unaware that it was once birthed through fire. At peace is your ministry. At calm is your calling card. Heaven is transforming your wounds into wisdom, your sorrow into strategy. Michael declares you will become the same miracle you once prayed for. And understand this, when God promotes you, He also multiplies your influence. You will notice sudden connections forming, unexpected messages, new invitations, open doors that seem almost too good to be true. Do not fear this expansion. It is divine networking, heaven's way of positioning you for impact. But with greater light comes greater discernment. Not everyone who applauds your rise carries pure intentions. Michael warns, as you ascend, stay humble. The higher you climb, the more you must guard your foundation. Your humility will be your armor. Your discernment will be your gatekeeper. There is also a sacred law of divine exchange unfolding around you. Every time you encourage another soul, heaven multiplies your favor. Each act of compassion becomes a seed that returns as provision. What once left your hands in tears will now return to you in joy. The people who once overlooked you will begin to seek your guidance. Do not let bitterness cloud your mercy. You are not rising to prove anyone wrong. You are rising to prove that grace still works. Michael shows me a vision of you standing before a crowd of hearts, not necessarily on a stage, but through your words, your example, your light. You are becoming a living revelation of restoration. Your story is the message, and your endurance is the testimony. The same voice that was once silenced by betrayal will now carry healing for others. Heaven says, you are no longer just a survivor. You are a sign that curses cannot cancel covenants, and envy cannot erase election. The energy of exposure has now turned into expansion. The wind that once carried words against you is now pushing your message farther than before. The one who cursed your name has accidentally amplified it. You will not need to defend yourself. The evidence of God's favor will speak louder than accusation. This is what Michael calls the reversal of resonance, when the vibration of your pain becomes the sound of your purpose. Child of destiny, the time has come for you to embrace visibility without fear. You are not stepping into pride, you are stepping into purpose. Heaven trusts you with influence, because you endured the test of betrayal without losing compassion. Michael smiles and says, rise, for your name is now a lightpost. Stay with me, for what Michael reveals next is the most intimate part of this journey. He will uncover how this divine exposure connects to your life's divine assignment, and why God needed you to face this hidden enemy to prepare you for your final transformation. What comes next is the revelation that ties it all together. My faithful one, Archangel Michael now speaks softly yet powerfully, for the revelation that follows touches the deepest purpose behind every battle you've endured. He says, the enemy you faced was never about the person, it was about the purpose. The hidden enemy, the false friend, the one who smiled while cursing your destiny, was not simply a human adversary. They were an instrument revealing a divine truth about your assignment on earth. Every chosen soul carries opposition, for light attracts both seekers and shadows. The curse that came against you was never meant to destroy you. It was sent to activate you. You see, in the divine order of destiny, exposure always precedes expansion. Before a vessel can carry power, it must be purified. And purification often comes through people, those who betray, those who misunderstand, those who secretly curse what they do not comprehend. Michael declares, the person who hurt you became the doorway through which heaven taught you discernment. Without their deceit, you might have trusted too freely. Without their envy, you might have underestimated your own value. Even in betrayal, there was divine choreography. God allowed this moment not to break your faith, but to reveal the strength hidden within it. Think of it, every emotional wound you endured carved space in your soul for wisdom to live. Every disappointment trained your heart for discernment. You learned who truly stands for you, and you learned that peace cannot be bought with people's approval. The hidden enemy served a purpose they never understood. They became the mirror reflecting what no longer belongs in your next season. Michael says, your enemies are unknowing teachers. They show you what to release so that your spirit can rise. And now, heaven has begun the transformation. The pain you carried has turned into prophetic power. The confusion that once tormented you is now becoming clarity that will guide others. What you experienced in private will soon become public testimony. You are stepping into the role of a light bearer, one who carries understanding for those still trapped in cycles of betrayal. Michael whispers, you have been anointed not just to rise but to raise others. The same voice that once cried for deliverance will now declare freedom for many. The hidden enemy's curse unknowingly unlocked your ministry. They forced you into the silence, where you met your strength. They pushed you into isolation, and in that stillness, heaven found you teachable. But they thought with punishment began preparation. You are now walking in divine authority because of what they meant for harm. This is the sacred paradox of destiny. Darkness must touch you so that light can be proven real. Every tear you shed has now become oil on your life. Michael says what once made you tremble now makes you unshakable. Child of destiny, your life is not a series of random wounds. It is a divine curriculum. Heaven has been writing your story as a manual for others who will face what you overcame. Every curse reversed, every exposure endured, every enemy unmasked. These are chapters of empowerment. Do not wish to erase them. They are the evidence of your calling. You were not chosen for comfort, you were chosen for influence. The same spiritual clarity you gained through pain is now your mantle. You will discern others' intentions with ease. You will feel energy shift before words are spoken. You have entered a higher realm of sensitivity, not as burden, but as blessing. And now, the most profound truth of all. Your hidden enemy was not your destruction. They were your initiation. Their betrayal marked the end of an old chapter and the beginning of divine authority. What was hidden is now revealed. What was delayed is now accelerated. Michael lifts his sword and says, This is the hour of divine maturity. You are no longer a wounded vessel. You are a weapon of light, sharpened through experience, wrapped in compassion, and forged in truth. Take close to this moment, for Michael is not finished. The next revelation will show how your new authority manifests, how your words, your thoughts, and your presence now carry power to shift atmospheres and influence outcomes. You are about to understand the divine science of spiritual authority, and it will change how you walk forever. My chosen vessel, Archangel Michael, now speaks about the mystery of spiritual authority, the invisible force that begins to manifest when a person rises above betrayal without bitterness. He says, when you choose peace over retaliation, heaven entrusts you with power. The trials you faced, the exposure you endured, and the curses you survived have refined your frequency. You are no longer reacting to what happens around you. You are now creating what happens through you. The hidden enemy, though unaware, initiated your transformation from one who seeks protection to one who carries it. You are now walking proof that divine authority is born through surrender, not struggle. You may have already noticed subtle changes around you. People respond differently when you speak. Your words carry an unusual calm that silences chaos. Places that once felt heavy now shift when you enter. This is not imagination. It is influence. Heaven has clothed you in a mantle of spiritual stability. The same fire that once purified your heart now radiates from your presence. Michael says your energy has become a sanctuary for others. Where once you needed rescuing, now you will become the rescuer. The authority you now walk in is not loud, not forceful. It is quiet, steady, and irresistible. Understand this. Spiritual authority is not about dominance. It is about alignment. The moment your heart aligned fully with truth, heaven granted you command. You speak, and the unseen listens. You pray, and circumstances bend. You forgive, and curses dissolve. This is not power earned. It is power entrusted. The one who learns restraint becomes the one heaven can trust with rulership. That is why betrayal was necessary. It proved your restraint. Michael says, only the one who has been pierced can carry the sword of light without corruption. You have passed the test. And now, the laws of manifestation begin to shift in your favor. Thoughts once scattered are now potent. Intentions spoken in faith will produce quickly. This is the realm of co-creation with heaven. You will notice signs, numbers repeating, timing aligning, sudden synchronicities that confirm divine orchestration. These are not coincidences. They are signatures of authority. Michael whispers, when you think in truth, heaven responds instantly. Every curse that once followed your name is now converted into creative energy. You are no longer fighting for survival. You are governing your atmosphere. A hidden enemy who once cursed you unknowingly confirmed your rank. Authority in the spirit is always tested through opposition. Without their challenge, your power would have remained dormant. But now, even their curse bows before your command. You have crossed the threshold where no spoken word against you can stand, for your vibration is anchored in truth. The more you walk in compassion, the stronger your protection grows. Heaven's shield is woven from humility and faith. Michael says, the humble command what the proud cannot. You will soon see evidence of this in your daily life. Situations that once triggered anxiety will now dissolve effortlessly. You will speak peace, and confusion will calm. You will declare provision, and it will appear. The divine current is no longer around you. It flows through you. People will begin to ask why your presence feels different. Some will find healing near you. Others will find conviction. That is the mark of true authority. It transforms by proximity. You are not meant to boast in this. only to steward it with reverence. Michael reminds you, power without purity corrupts, but purity with power transforms. Your role now is to maintain alignment. Stay grounded in gratitude, anchored in silence, and watch as heaven multiplies your reach. The more you walk in love, the less you will need to explain yourself. Every word you speak with faith will become seed in motion. The hidden enemy who once cursed you has already bowed in defeat, not by your strength, but by the strength of your obedience. You are now the living embodiment of divine order, unshakable, radiant, and free. Hold your focus, for what comes next is the final and most sacred revelation. Michael will reveal the closure of this spiritual cycle, the blessing hidden behind every betrayal, and the eternal promise that ensures your destiny can never again be cursed. This last release will seal the journey you've walked from pain into power. My beloved and victorious one, Archangel Michael now steps forward for the final revelation, and his words resound like the closing of a heavenly scroll. He says the cycle is complete. What began as confusion, betrayal, and secret curses has now become a tapestry of divine justice and transformation. You have walked through fire and did not burn. You have been surrounded by envy and were not consumed. The same hidden enemy who sought to curse your destiny has become the proof of your unshakable covenant with heaven. Michael stands beside you now, his wings extended, declaring, "The final judgment has been rendered. Your name is cleared, your path is clean, and your purpose is secure." This is the moment where destiny shifts from battle to blessing. You are no longer in warfare, you are in witness. The storm has passed, and the light that follows is unlike anything you have seen before. Heaven does not waste pain, and the tears you shed have now become the ink with which God writes your testimony. The hidden enemy's curse has been reversed so completely that even its memory will serve your rise. You will tell this story one day, not as a wound, but as wisdom. The people who once misunderstood your silence will see the peace that came from it. The curses that once sought to contain you have now become evidence of how impossible it is to destroy a soul protected by divine fire. Michael reveals that every betrayal carried a hidden blessing code. When they lied, it taught you truth. When they rejected you, it taught you strength. When they cursed you, it activated your covenant. You are standing now not as a victim of darkness, but as a graduate of divine refinement. The fire that surrounded you was never meant to consume, it was meant to consecrate. Heaven says, this was not punishment, it was preparation. You have become the weapon they feared and the light they could not dim. From this day forward, no word spoken against you will ever find ground, for your name has been sealed in divine authority. And now, as one chapter closes, another opens. The exposure that once broke your heart has now built your discernment. The hidden enemy has fulfilled their purpose and will fade from your story, replaced by divine alliances sent by heaven itself. New faces, pure intentions, honest hearts, they are on their way. You are about to walk in circles where peace, not pretense, reigns. You will look back on this entire journey and whisper, it all had to happen exactly this way. For if the betrayal had not come, you would never have met the fullness of your own strength. Michael lifts his sword high and speaks with the voice of thunder. By the decree of heaven, every curse once spoken against this soul is now converted into an eternal blessing. Your footsteps shall be guided by divine favor. Their name shall open gates that were once shut. Their light shall awaken nations. The curse is not only broken, it has been reversed into generational blessing. The same force that tried to stop you will now serve you. The pain once endured will now become prophetic oil. You are the living evidence that God wastes nothing. Do not look for apology from those who hurt you. Their recognition is not your restoration. But true closure comes from heaven's confirmation. Your peace is your proof. Your growth is your vindication. Michael whispers, "You have outgrown the battlefield. Now, walk in the garden of your inheritance." From this moment, every word you speak in truth will multiply. Every action done in love will expand. Every seed you sow will yield beyond measure. The angels now stand in alignment with your path, ensuring that what is yours can no longer be delayed. Type in the comments, "I am sealed in divine completion." Blessing code 1444 has now been released over your destiny, your family, and your generations to come. Beloved, before this divine message closes, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this truth, comment what spoke deepest to your spirit, and subscribe for more heavenly revelations through Archangel Michael's voice. Your engagement doesn't just support this mission, it extends the reach of heaven's word to those still walking through darkness. My dear soul, if this message has awakened something within you, know that you have just participated in a divine movement. These prophetic words go out not for fame, but for transformation. When you choose to support this work, through super thanks, membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are not just blessing a channel, you are partnering with heaven's mission to deliver healing across nations. As the scripture says, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. This is your invitation to sow into light. As you give, imagine your seed turning into ripples of hope that reach the weary, the broken, and the searching. Every act of generosity carries heavenly fire. Every offering becomes oil for another soul's awakening. Step forward now, not out of obligation, but obedience. And as you do, may the same Archangel Michael who guarded you through this message surround your home with protection, prosperity, and unshakable peace.